Hashtag no music, no intro. We are back. Saints Block Party podcast, prospect of the week. Woo! This is going to be a good one. The last poll we did for the next prospect in the series, Ashton Jeanty won far and away, running back from Boise State. And let's talk about him. Let's talk about Ashton Jeanty. He's again, if you listen to our previous prospect of the week episodes, we've done Mikael Williams, edge rusher, Georgia, edge linebacker. We've done Tataroa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona. When we give out these height, weight measurements, they are. Bajante, can y'all describe your process for reviewing tape? You know what's funny? Like, my process over the years is, bro, I go to YouTube, I type the player's name, versus, and I literally just watch every single game of them as I can. And I've gotten to the point I don't write notes down. I just watch. I just watch. That's it.
Yep, pretty much the same way I've been doing it for years, man. Used to go to draft breakdown.
Yeah. Oh,
now I just go to YouTube. I start off with a highlight because I feel like, look, if your highlight don't catch me, it's like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? So I catch the highlight to see what you do well quickly. So I'm like, okay, I know what I'm watching. Then I go look for the game cut-ups to watch as many snaps as I can to see the positives and the negatives. You know, what you need to work on, what you're good at. Game situations, third down, crunch time during the game, stuff like that.
Fourth quarter.
So that's how I usually do. I don't normally take notes. Only time I take notes is when I'm just going through like a bunch of prospects.
Yeah.
And I try to just jot down some things just as I'm watching, just like things that come to my mind, which is sometimes the best thing to do because it ends up being right 90% of the time. Just going by the tape and what you see.
Yeah.
At that first moment.
Yeah.
Because once you start going through the draft process and you start hearing opinions, TV, Greg Cosell, Dave Jeremiah,
it gets jaded.
It just get all jumbled in your mind. But when you watching this prospect on a blank slate, nothing in your mind, you just watching them and giving your opinion, 90% of the time you right on the money.
Right. Whether you're right or wrong, at least you don't have any outside influence. And we're talking about Ashton Jeanty, but when I was in Lubbock last weekend, that's how I kind of watched Jackson, or was it Jackson Dart? Jackson Dart. I just had a clean slate of him, bro. Had no.
We're going to save that for the prospect.
I know, bro. I would just say it. I would just give it, like, I had no outside interference when I watched him. And anyway.
That's going to be a hot one there. That's going to be a hot topic right there, boy.
Yes. But I was just saying that when we talk about these weights and these measurements, they're not official because the combine has not happened yet. They're just going off the measurements from the school website. Those can be inflated, what have you. But on the Boise State website, he's listed at 5'9", 215. Feel like the combine, as it is for all prospects, but the combine is going to be important for him. And he is going to be the litmus test of how important are running backs in the NFL.
In 2025.
Thank you for adding that. And if you're watching this right now, you're watching this because you're either a Patreon or you're a YouTube member. So thank y'all. Like, we're doing this series specifically for y'all. We're going to be off next week from doing the series, but we're doing multiple prospects of the week because of the Senior Bowl. Y'all gonna get interviews. Y'all gonna get special cut-ups of players and things like that, and videos and one-on-ones of D-line going against O-line and wide receivers going against cornerbacks and vice versa and shit like that. So the Prospect of the Week series is on pause, but you're getting actual video content of seeing it for yourselves. So that's all coming next week. But that's the question. How important is running back in the NFL in 2025? If you look at the 4 teams in the playoffs, the Bills with James Cook, the Chiefs to a lesser degree, but even in their runs where they won Super Bowls with Pacheco, with Hunt, the Eagles with Saquon Barkley, the Commanders. I feel like they benefit a lot from Jayden Daniels in his running, and that opens a lot up for Brian Robinson. But when I had lunch with Greg, I asked him what his big, as the season was ending, what his biggest takeaway from the season was, and he said the running game is in vogue now. Like, it didn't go away, but it's back, and that's what makes the Ashton Jeanty discourse so interesting. So
Yeah,
interesting.
it's so fascinating, and it's all come back around, man. It all come back around. There's been all the talk about, offenses playing too high. I mean, defense playing too high safety, playing this kind of, cover four and all this stuff to try to prevent like the big plays from passing offenses being down somewhat, trending down the past couple of years, and offenses have shifted. Like, okay, you're gonna play these light boxes. You're gonna play these small DB. I mean, these small safeties and small linebackers. We're gonna run the ball on you, and it's shifted now. Now you see, Saquon Barkley going to the Eagles, getting paid big money, and having almost 2,000. I remember I posted in the Discord probably this time last year, or maybe about this time last year, wondering if anybody will ever challenge the Eric Dickerson.
Did you? How crazy is
Yeah,
that? How
because
funny.
it was at that moment it was like, wow, ain't nobody really putting up big major rushing yards anymore. You know what I'm saying? At this point last season, and now you had Saquon Barkley challenging the Eric Dickerson. Uh, King Henry putting up almost up 2,000
1,000
yards.
yards.
It's like just that quick it flipped. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's like it's here to, I don't know about here to stay forever, but like this is where the league is at. You got to be able to run the ball and challenge these defenses, man. Just the way they built now and what college is putting out now. College is not putting out Ray Lewis type linebackers and shit like that no more. Like that's gone. You know what I'm saying? Linebackers are small, they run and chase guys, and you got to be able to take advantage of that. Safeties, it's hard to even find safeties in college right now because just of the way the college game is, you have to kind of like squint and kind of create a safety in the
Yes.
NFL now. So it's just the way the league is going, man. Like so when, like you said, this is gonna be a great litmus test in the draft with all the draft nerds are like, oh, you shouldn't take running back in the first round. You can get a guy later. You can get a guy in the fourth, fifth, and sixth round, and you can just get the same production. Blah 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 blah. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, but you gotta run your offense. End of the day, and would you rather run your offense with the just a guy, or would you rather run your offense with somebody who's explosive, who can score from any point of the field, who can wear down the defense, which is huge. We just saw the Bills, play the Ravens this past week. Joe Brady, future head coach of the Saints, maybe, basically said, "I'm going to turn Josh Allen into Alex Smith. Like
Crazy, bro.
I'm going crazy." And it
It
was a
worked.
great play, and they ran the piss out the ball against the
Ran.
Ravens,
Woo, hell, bro. Over and over
and
again, bro.
over and over again. You got to be able to do that in the NFL, man. Got to.
And the crazy thing is, there are a lot of coaches, and we could speak to this because we've been fans of Sean Payton teams in the past where he didn't stick with the run. Like he would get pass heavy, and Andy
Oh
Reid
well.
Andy Reid in his Eagle days was
Oh
very
yeah.
similar. Got super pass heavy. Um, Genty specifically, because obviously this podcast was about Genty. Watching him, what were your impressions?
Uh, First thing is just his compact look. So he has instantly has pre-built in leverage, just the way he runs. Low to the ground. Just his. It's not all the time, but most of the time, his decisiveness. He doesn't get too much choppy feet behind the
Right.
line, and he's going. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He's going, man. He's going. He's physical, breaks tackles. Uh, Always like he's never just. tackled. Like it's always
He's a finisher.
guy. Yeah, he's finishing and he's moving his feet. You know what I'm saying? His ability to get down the field. Just you just see like just a good ass running back, man. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Like
Yes.
you don't have to squint to see like because some running backs you look at you like yeah like it maybe in this offense I could see him
Hmm.
doing this. Maybe if it's a like an outside zone I could see him do. With him it's just like yeah it's just a good ass running
Good
back right here.
running back.
Like
So Cole asked this question, and when we have our dude Tony Pauline on, because I want to know. My question is like, where does he like rank in with pass running backs coming out? But Cole's question, one of our newest Patreons who's been in the Discord recently, better or worse than Bijan Robinson coming out? I think Bijan Robinson is a better running back prospect than
that's a
Jeanty.
great point because I was thinking about that earlier watching more Jeanty and the one and I wouldn't even call this a negative, but just where he slided, I do wonder. I don't know if he's that special back, and
There
that's
it
not.
is.
It's not a knock down on him, but Todd Gurley,
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, Bijan Watson. You watch them, it's like special.
Woo!
Like it's just
Yeah.
they got that little extra something. It's just like man, this is a special player, like potential Hall of Fame, like got that type of ability, like you know what I'm saying. And not saying that he doesn't, but it's just like it just might be a slight notch below those guys, those Todd Gurley's and Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, just a notch below those guys, but not like a wide gap, but just like a notch.
Mia asked if he's another Kendre. Mia, you can just get off the
Yeah, get out of here. Go
please,
shopping. Go shopping.
please,
Go
please.
go.
It took me a while, and I said this in our Discord of my because first when talking to our dude Dante, I compared him to the muscle hamster Doug Martin with breakaway speed. But I
Mhm.
watched him more, and it really dawned on me who he really reminded me of, and he really, to me, he reminds me so much. And he was a draft bay in '07, I think it was. In fact, this is correct. I'm a sicko for knowing this. So
Ooh.
maybe it was '08. Marshawn Lynch coming out of Cal.
Ooh.
He has the the same type of like because I pulled up Marshawn Lynch's combine number. So Marshawn Lynch was 5'11", 215. Genty's supposedly 5'9", 215. Marshawn ran like a 4.4 at the
Mhm.
combine. But just the way they play the game and they win, very similar players when you watch them. And it took me a while. And I was watching that Oregon game where I think it finally kind of clicked. And
Dang.
I was like, this is Marshawn Lynch at Cal to me. And I I was throwing out hot takes back then, Ryan. I felt that Marshawn Lynch was a better running back prospect than Adrian Peterson. Ended up that I was wrong. I know, bro. I was throwing out hot takes back then. Um, Mark said Marshawn was when he was a prospect, he was 215. He bulked up a lot in
Yeah,
the
he got
league.
much bigger. He got much
Yeah,
bigger than me.
but I this like when I think of Genty, I really see Kyle Marshawn Lynch, that Punisher style of
Mhm.
running, but then you give him daylight, he's gone. And
Oh,
Marshawn went, I want to say he went like 11 to the Bills.
think so.
It's sick that I know that, like kind of like off. I gotta pull it up anyway. I'll let you say what you're gonna finish, but now I gotta see where Marshawn Lynch got drafted by the Bills.
No, no, that's a good pull. I gotta go back and watch some Cal Marshawn Lynch just to remember how he looked back then, because I just see Seahawks Marshawn Lynch
Right.
in my head right now. He also reminded me a little bit of Joshua Jacobs with the
Mm,
Raiders. I
mm.
think
I
I
could see that
I feel
too.
like he has a little more juice than Josh.
Yes.
But just the kind of the way he plays, the patience he has behind the line,
12th.
just the 12th. Okay, yeah,
Uh,
that makes sense. But yeah, he reminds me of that. And basically, that's the style of running back is that Marshawn Lynch, Joshua Jacobs, Doug Martin. Just that Punisher, bro. Like just that Punisher. And I don't know if you got the stats I
oh,
sent you.
yep. I do.
Uh,
So I'm gonna put the stats up, guys and gals. So if y'all are in the chat talking and what have you, I'm not gonna be able to see it for a while because the screen is going to be full. Uh, uh, uh.
So yeah, just his basic stats. And when I looked at this, I was like, damn, he caught a lot of passes in 2023. Because I was wondering that watching this 2024 stuff, I was like, man, he's not catching no balls. Can he catch? Then I saw his stats. I was like, well, shit, he caught damn near 600 yards last year.
Right.
So I pulled up some clips I could from 2023. Ooh, in the pass game, oh man, like I was actually. That's why I was like in the Discord, like, boy, it boys something in the pass game, bro. Like screens, catching passes,
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
leaking out the side, leaking out the backfield. And when he gets the ball in his hand in space,
Oh Lord.
boy, is dangerous because he is moving fast and he is punishing. DBs don't want none of it. They don't want
None of it,
none
bro.
of it, man. And his speed, I don't know if he was smaller in 2023 or something, but he just looked just a tad bit more juicy. I had to go look up like who was the offensive coordinator this year. It was Dirk Cutter who used to coach
Right. Falcons.
the Bucks,
Oh,
but
but that's
last
right.
year, yeah, last year was some other guy, and I don't know why they stopped throwing it to him this year. Like I don't know, like maybe they've got a pass down, a pass catching running back. I don't know why, but don't let 2024 fool you thinking, okay, he doesn't catch pass. The dude could catch. He's dangerous in the pass game. Didn't see him like run routes, like wide receiver
Right.
routes or nothing like that. But a lot of passes out the backfield, and he's dangerous in space, man. Like that. When I saw that, I was like, okay, that's a big box check for me. Because that, to
Huge.
me, if you traveling a running back in the first round, especially like in the top 15 in the first round, you got to be a factor in the run game and the pass game.
Have to be. And so he has a lot of positive traits. There are some knocks like there is with all prospects.
Mm-hmm.
That that right here, 750 carries.
Yeah. Oh, so workhorse, bro.
No pun intended.
Mhm.
But they have written that man hard. Now, if you're looking at this from a and I'm not looking at it from any other team perspective right now. I'm just looking at it from the Saints perspective. Might not be the worst thing because you got AK and Kendra for maybe 2 games out of the season, right? But you're not asking him to come in and be the primary focal point back. He's basically what AK is coming in, what Mark Ingram was, Mark Ingram when AK was a rookie, right? So
Right.
that could kind of mitigate the load that he had in college. But 750 carries in college, that's a lot, bro. It's a lot.
A lot. It's a lot, man. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's still a young man. Like, I mean, this is the time. This is the time to ride that horse. Like, I could see if he was 30, but he's a,
Right.
21, 22-year-old player. This is the time to put the mileage on. I don't know his injury history. I know he's had like a elbow injury and a little knee here and stuff like that. I don't know if he's had any catastrophic injuries. Just looking
I
at
don't
his
think so.
stats, look, he's been available. Obviously, just looking at his stats, so to me, like that wouldn't that wouldn't prevent me from drafting him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's healthy. He's been able to handle the load. So that's the key, that he's handled the load. Like he got more carries this year than any other year, and he averaged 7 yards a carry. I
7 yards,
mean,
right? And,
7 yards.
going back to the positives, he at a lower level, I mean, quote unquote lower level of competition, he does and did what you want to see. He dominated. He dominated that low. And when he played against a team like Oregon,
Yep,
um, he looked like the best player on the field when he played against Oregon.
he
Like
did.
bar none. There was a couple of plays. I don't know if you saw it, but there was one play when they were in the red zone, and he just makes this cut to the outside for a
Yep,
touchdown. Bro,
yep,
I started fanning myself, nigga. I said, "Oh my
yep.
goodness."
What I don't know if that was a similar play, but I think Oregon might have brought in another defensive lineman because I think they were ready to plug up that middle, and he
Yep.
he did that cut, and it was
Woo!
just like, He has some great lateral quickness too, like great
and his
lateral quickness.
and a very underrated part of his game, and I'm not gonna say it's Le'Veon Bell-esque, but his patience is a great, like, it's he has great patience as a running back in terms of setting up
Yeah,
his blocks and all that. But the carries, I want to give shout out. I want to say Agitator Brian brought this point up in terms of with the competition. It's not like he was in the SEC carrying like going against like SEC type competition,
Alabama
taking
and all that. Yeah,
taking those type of hits, and I kind of see where he was coming from. Like he's not like his body's not like it was like the Alabama players when they was coming in the league and
right.
already just beat up when they were
Just grinding them out, just
yeah.
grinding them to the ground and all that. Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, look, it's the carry thing is not. It's just not a huge concern for me. Like it's if he had like a banged up history where he was constantly missing games and stuff like that, I worry. But I think that just shows like he's primed and ready to go, man. Like he's get him on the field day one. Get him on the field day one, ready to go. And look, all the great running backs have been used a lot in college, man. Like you look at
Yeah.
Zeke. When Zeke came out, he was a workhorse. Ty Gurley, Lord knows he was a workhorse. Plenty of other players, man. Like the
It's
great.
funny. I feel like, and maybe I feel like Jeanty is a better player in a vacuum than Zeke was coming out of Ohio State.
I agree. I
And
agree.
Zeke went like fourth overall, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
But similar to Zeke, like when you watch Zeke, it's like, oh man, this is just a good ass running back. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
just was no meat. It was meat and potatoes, just a good ass running back. Like, and I feel kind of the same way with Genty. Is like, I know what I'm getting with him. I know what I'm getting with him. I am not worried whatsoever that he'll be a bust or that that he won't. Look, maybe he won't be as good his rookie year. Maybe he'll have struggles, reading defenses, or maybe he wouldn't. Maybe you won't see as many as the explosive long runs as you saw in college,
Right.
70-yard runs and stuff like that, because the DBs in the NFL all run 4.3. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna catch you. So maybe you won't see stuff like that until he figures out how to really read defenses and stuff like that, and read coverages from behind the line of scrimmage. All that stuff takes time. But to me, I just wouldn't worry about him as far as being like a productive running back. I just
No.
have no worry
Mm-mm.
about it, man. It's like you
Cole,
kind of see what you get.
Cole said better than Fournette, who went fourth as well.
Now, that's another one that was kind of running to the ground,
Yeah, at
ran a lot.
LSU.
But he was a guy that just kind of like I've known about him since he was like a freshman at St. O. And he was a workhorse back then, playing both sides of the ball. And he just kind of matured really early. Like he looked like a
Mm.
grown ass man when he was like 15 years old, bro.
Right.
So he kind of hit his peak real early, and I don't feel that way like about a Genty. I feel like there's still room for Genty, like to be even better.
Right. Um, this is what I will say, and I would say like this is the biggest actual ballot point if you're arguing of why the Saints shouldn't draft Jeanty at 9. In most draft classes, the running back depth, you could argue, nah, you're not going to get a running back, as good as Jeanty in the later rounds. This draft class, this one, I'm not going to even try to name them all. But you got Trey Hendrickson. No, not Trey. Travion. What's the Ohio State running back?
Trayvon, yeah,
Um, Ohio
Henderson,
State.
Henderson,
Henderson. Sorry, I
yeah.
had Trigger Trey on my mind. Henderson, Ohio State. Judkins, Ohio State, who just declared today. You have the Oklahoma State running back Ali Gordon. You have the Iowa guy, Iowa
Iowa
State.
State, yeah.
Hey,
Caleb, what's his
John.
face?
It is a
There's tons of running backs.
absolutely stacked running back class. Probably one of the most. Or you have the blue, one of my draft bays,
Yeah,
blue from
Blue.
Texas. You this running back class is absolutely stacked. So the question becomes, and it's a fair argument, is if rather than taking Jeanty at 9, draft another, go BPA, whatever BPA is at 9, and then you can get a running back round 2, round 3, because it's not like a player like Junkins doesn't have juice.
Yeah, they got players with you. That's the good thing about this draft. Like as far as running back, it's a diverse set. Like you got your your ground and pound guys, you got your pass catching guys, you got everything. Like there's just all kind of different flavors, big, small, everything. So yeah, this draft is. I mean that's gonna be the number one question. Like how far do you trust your grade? Because it all depends on who's there. You know what I'm saying? Like if one of your blue chip players drop, you know what I'm saying, or Will Johnson or Abdul Carter not gonna be there, Mason Graham not gonna be there. But say, McHale's there, say Will Johnson's there, you know, that's a real decision. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real decision you're gonna have to make because you're not gonna find that many great cornerbacks
Nope.
in the second round, third round of this draft. Whereas you might be able to find like some good running backs. Maybe they might not be as good as polished as Jeanty, but you could find some good running backs in the second and third round in this draft. So that's going to be the decision.
And you have 2 third-round picks because of the Marshawn Lattimore trade.
Exactly. But the question is, Will Johnson gone, Mason Graham gone, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell gone. Who else?
T-Mac going too, bro?
T-Mac gone too. T-Mac gone too. Then it's like, it's like, okay, now you got Mikael Williams maybe. You got the J-Lon kid. You maybe got Kevin Banks, the OT. Then it's like, man, I just want a dog, man. Like,
can I? Okay, so I'm sharing this. What I've heard. I've heard that the scouts, and this is just a scout's opinion, has Jeanty graded out as a talent-wise as a mid-first round pick.
Makes 100% sense to me. 100%.
Now, and I've been told it's very unlikely that the Saints would draft him at 9. However, that's what the scouts think. The Saints don't even have a head coach right now.
Don't even have a head coach. Like that's so none of that means nothing.
So let's hypothetically say Joe Brady comes in and he says, I want to replicate what I was able to do with Josh Allen and the Bills. I did it with James Cook. Shit, we got Jeanty right here at 9. Jeanty, I could do some stuff with Jeanty and AK. I could get rid of Derek Carr, trade him to the the Giants. Do some stuff with Rally for a year. Hopefully it works out with him. And if it doesn't work out with him, maybe draft a quarterback next year. But at least I have a foundational piece. Whoever the coach is, like, that's a huge part. That's a huge piece of it. Huge piece of it. So, question I asked you when we do the series: does Ashton Jeanty have juice?
Yes. Don't have to squint for it either.
Not one squint,
juice
bro.
all over. Juice.
Not one squint, bro. Not one squint. What else you do? So, of the players that we've done 3. We've done Mikel, we've done Tetaroa, and we've done Jeanty. And if all 3 are on the board at 9, all 3, what player are you going? You, not the Saints. I'm asking you, Wolf. What player are you going up there with the card? Whose name is on the card?
It's a great question because arguably you could argue that wide receiver is just a bigger need, and this draft isn't as deep at wide receiver as it is in running back. So you could make the argument that look, I'll take the wide receiver, and look, I actually like Mikael Williams too. I think he could be a real dynamic asset, but there's questions there.
Yep.
Like you know what I'm saying? Just like, there's some bustability there. You know what I'm saying?
And we not gonna have Aaron Glenn coaching him.
Right. No. So the least bustable players are McMillan and Jeanty to me. Out of those three. But I would go Jeanty. I wouldn't overthink it. I think you just once you start overthinking, go with your best grade. And to me, the best graded player, if I was a scout of those three players, would be Jeanty. And I'm just going with that.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? Trust your grade, man. Trust the tape, trust the grade. Let it all fall out. Let it all fall. The pieces fall where they fall. You won't go wrong just picking good players, man. You won't go wrong. Ignore all the noise. Ignore all the draft grades the day after the draft and all that stuff. Ignore all that shit. Draft good players, and it will help your team. Trust me.
Period.
Ravens do it every year.
All the fucking time. All the time. It's annoying and sickening how much they get away with it. It's not close to me. Like, I think Jeanty is in a different, he's in a different tier of prospect to me than Mikael Williams and McMillan, to me.
Right.
Like, I rush, I turn that card in, I have a foundational piece, and we roll. Like,
We roll, baby.
we gonna be in the NFC South. We gotta see, Bucky Irvin. We gotta see Bijan Robinson, Chuba Hubbard. I want, AKs in his 30s. Like, I want to be able to have our version of that. Before we wrap up, I want to talk about, there are some teams. There's one team I feel now with Pete Carroll being the Raiders head coach. That's going to be so interesting to see how that goes, because Pete Carroll in Seattle, like, their drafts were like their drafts were just so not predictable,
unpredictable
at all. Like, I could see them going.
They talk about us. You think the Saints go off the board? No,
no.
Be like, who? Bruce Irvin.
I can see them going either of the Georgia defensive players, like, super early, like Mikael or Jalen Walker. Like that.
I could see somebody like Jalen, bro. Like, just
it makes so much sense. Like, what? He's going like 6 overall, but if you watched what the Seahawks did with Jordan Brooks, Texas Tech, with Bruce Irvin, West Virginia, it makes perfect sense if you just follow Pete Carroll. But I could also see him going a player like Jeanty. I could also see him going a player like McMillan of, hey, let's pair another young weapon with Brock Bowers. It sounds like maybe Russell Wilson's gonna maybe be the quarterback of the fucking Raiders, and they're gonna get that weird band together again.
I'm fascinated to see Pete build, like, just to see him build. I want to see what he do. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see what he do with the Raiders, because that could, he could very well change the Raiders' future right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, just by coaching, or he could be out of, maybe he's too old and game passed him by. We'll see.
Very interesting that he got a 3-year contract, and like most of the other coaches are getting 5-year contracts.
That is interesting. Very interesting.
Anything else from?
I had a point I was gonna make, but that shit gone.
Gone. Man said it's gone.
I was about to say, fuck it, it's gone, bro.
It's gone.
We didn't say it enough. Shit.
We have. Anyhow, we appreciate y'all for joining. We have like 11 concurrent viewers on right now.
Love y'all, man.
We do. If you missed this or came in late, we're gonna post the high quality video on Patreon. It will be up I'll probably post it tonight, honestly. And then we'll also make sure it's posted on YouTube for YouTube members only. And it's Ashton Jeanty. Oh, I know one thing I was going to say. It would be the most foul thing if Jeanty just slid to the Broncos, bruh.
Oh, that's gross. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. I was basically gonna say, like, regardless of what happens at quarterback for the Saints, it's either gonna be a rookie, it's gonna be, Spencer Rattler, it's gonna be a journeyman maybe, or it's gonna be Derek Carr. In all four of those options, you need to have a great running game in this team.
Come on.
So like, that's why Jeanty just makes so much sense, because there's no option where a running game won't be needed. You know what I'm saying?
It takes so much pressure off of whoever is behind center.
Whoever it is, it will make the offense better, regardless of who's at quarterback.
Get some two back sets with Jeanty and AK, and if Taysom Hill's able to come back from injury, you get Taysom back there. You got Jeanty next to him, and AK.
Mess around and draft a tight end. Go get Dawson Knox. Oh.
They can be fucking right now, right? You see that to me, you know what that would show? Vision. What we've been asking for 5 fucking years on this goddamn podcast, bro. Joe Brady, if you listening, like, it wouldn't be funny. It would never happen. But maybe it'd be funny, like, in his interview, bro. Like, he like made notes in the podcast, and he like presented it like, hey, this is how, like, we could do this, and it's like word for word like what we fucking said, bro.
Let me go check the little Patreon. Let's see if Joe Brady on that.
Anyway, we might have to do like an emergency podcast episode while we're in Mobile.
Last team left, bro. Last team left without a coach.
And we were like the second team to fire their head coach in the season.
But that's all right. That's all right. We asked for no sham interview. We asked for them to do expansive search. That's what they're doing.
I'm not even as much as hard as we can be on them. Like, I'm not even mad at it, because now you don't got no competition.
Yep.
You got no competition. Although it would be some wild shit, and we're wrapping up. It would be some wild shit if, like, the Commanders won on Sunday and then they fired Nick Sirianni and then that job opened up. Wouldn't that be crazy?
That'd be crazy. That'd be messed up.
Cliff would be like,
I can work with that.
Interesting. Jalen, AJ Brown, Monte Smith, that O-line, Saquon. Hashtag intrigued. But assuming that no craziness happens, the Saints literally get to take their time. They don't have to rush. They don't have to have competition. They literally can take their time, have a 4 or 5 hour interview with Joe Brady, with Mike McCarthy, with Kellen Moore, and really get to the nitty gritty of what their vision is for the team if they were the head coach. Yep. And whoever has the best vision and sounds like they are a program builder, a CEO that's going to bring the Saints to relevancy and just out of embarrassment, again, then make that guy the head coach. If it's Mike McCarthy, then it's Mike McCarthy. If it's Joe Brady, 5 years in the league, it's Joe Brady. If it's Kellen Moore with his buck teeth, then bring his buck teeth to Airline. But, like, take your time. You don't got anyone breathing down your neck. There's no one else going to talk to Kellen Moore. There's no one else going to talk to Joe Brady. This is your time to take your time and ask any questions. But also, as the Saints, I need you to be open to whatever you're being told as a response. You're not a good team. You won 5 games. You have not been a good team since Sean Payton and Drew Brees left. Maybe you got to be open to some criticism. And if someone comes in and says, "Y'all, we need to do this differently. If you want to turn shit around," maybe you got to be open to that and listen to that as well.
Hello.
Just saying. Anyway, we will be back next week. We got a lot fucking going on next week. So don't know a schedule, but make sure you're following us on everything. I'm talking Instagram, TikTok, X, everything, because the content is going to be coming mightily. But Patreon, YouTube members, we're going to be posting exclusive only content, whether it be interviews with players or just footage from the Senior Bowl for y'all, for just supporting us. So we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll be back next week. With that, we are out.
Peace.